Okay, let's try that. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our special life story training. Super excited to be here. I think everyone now knows that my birthday was earlier in this month or this week on Monday, because it was posted in the group. And I just wanted to thank everyone for all of the birthday love. I definitely felt appreciated and special on my birthday, so I appreciated it. But it also made me want to give something back too. So I decided I would love to do an extra life story training. And I have had a few things, just like you, I'm also in school and I am constantly learning new things and new ways of thinking about things. And I'm constantly getting schooled. And I think that's part of this lifestyle of learning and expansion and growth. Like we're always in a state of creation, right? And so whenever we have opportunities to learn new things, we like to take them, and then that becomes the culture that we are used to, and it's very exciting. So I just had a few things that I have been pondering on that I wanted to share, and then maybe if Christine has something she wants to share, she will also just jump in if she has any thoughts to help you guys move forward in your life stories. So I had an interesting, actually, it was on my birthday. I had a kind of an interesting experience where I had in my social media feed or in my interactions with people, I had 4 different experiences on that very same day. And the very first one was when I got up to go do my exercise in the morning. I was out on my run and I had a message pop in my messenger box from Timothy, who's one of our coaches, and he had popped in there to wish me a happy birthday, and then he made a comment to me about how much he appreciated the day that we met, and because from the day that we met, he realized that his destiny was up to him. And it was in his control, and that ever since that day, he had been working on discovering his own destiny and making those plans, and how much that had changed that thought process. He was talking about how much he appreciated the day that we met, but what he really also meant was how much he appreciated the knowledge that he had gained through that thought process, that what he created was up to him, and how much that had changed his outlook on life and how much that changed everything that he saw. Well, not very long after that, I got a message from someone else that I haven't heard from for quite a while, a couple of years probably. Another young man here in Ghana that was an old friend a few years ago, and then I hadn't heard from him, and he sent me a message and he said, "Hey, guess what?" He said, "I got out my notebook where I wrote down the things in my life story from 3 years ago." And then he just gave me a report on some of the things that had come to pass out of that. And he said, "It's really true." He said, "It's like magic." And I said, "I know, it is like magic. It's so awesome." So it was really, really fun because I got to these messages from dear friends about how much they had learned how to take responsibility for what they were creating in their own world, instead of waiting for someone else to do it or thinking it's something is impossible. They had the faith and the courage to believe that anything is possible. And so because they had embraced that, they were both sending me messages of appreciation of how much that had changed their way of doing life. So that same day, I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw a post by another woman that I know. And she was talking about how people are probably tired of hearing her story, her troubles, all of the things. Like she has significant challenges with mental health. And so she was talking about, some of those challenges that she had been through. And then she started into a list of all of the times that people had not been there for her. People didn't show up to help her when they should have. People, and it was a long post. It was like it was long. Like I had to scroll through it and read this whole thing about all of the challenges that she had in her life and all of the ways that she was unsupported and how she had, like, how hard her life was. And grant you, like, she does have challenges, but I wonder how many of those challenges are made worse by the fact Number one, that she just typed it up. She put all of the things that she doesn't want to experience. She just wrote them all down as if they're true, because in her mind they are true. And that was what she was saying. This is my reality, because she doesn't know that there's any other way to do it. And then I saw a message of another young man. Again, someone with really deep challenges, someone who has been paralyzed from a long time ago, and had a very unfortunate, I guess he had passed away. And it brought to my mind all of the times that he would also post about how difficult things were and how hard his life was, and how challenging, right? And so again, I had to ask myself, what is the difference between these two groups of people? Here I have two people who have been using Life Story, and they're saying it really works, it really works. And then there are other people who they know something about Life Story, something. Well, actually, no, they don't. They probably don't. Like, they might have heard of it, but they don't really know what it is, and they don't really do it, because if they did know, they would be doing things in that different way, right? They would be doing. And so it caught my heart and my gratitude. And I realized the reason that people suffer and struggle like that is because they don't know any different. They don't know another way of being. They don't know that they can change how they think about something, and it can change their outcome entirely, right? And in that moment, I saw those two different groups of people, the ones that were attached to their story of struggle and how much worse they struggled and how much worse they suffered because of it, versus the ones who had come from difficult situations, but then decided to try out this Life Story program, and they decided to write it. They decided to do it. And then they started to get a different kind of result, right? So I wanted to share that with you. I wanted to share that with you because if there's anything that I would ask of people in this group, it's that you share Life Story, like teach people, because those two people in the examples I gave that were suffering, they were attached to their old stories, and they would not let go of their old stories because that was their reality. They perceived that it was true. They thought that that was true, and they didn't realize it was a story, and it was their story, and they made it up to begin with, even with the challenges, because you can see people with challenges and they will think a different way, and they will use their challenges to lift other people. They will use their challenges. Okay, Christine is a perfect example of that. Your Life Story coach, Christine, that's on this call, is an example of someone who has come through difficult challenges, but use those challenges to learn how to think in a different way and how to lift other people out of them, rather than just focusing on how hard things were, all of the challenges and the struggles. We can get focused on that thing, right? And that is the difference between those two groups of people. The ones that were struggling, it was because they were focused on what? Their struggle, right? They were focused on how hard everything was and how much struggle they had all the time. While the other two people decided to rewrite old stories and decided maybe they have just made it up and they can create something new. And they decided they will focus on what they want rather than what they don't want. Christine, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think what you said is okay. If you are dissatisfied with your present situation, the only way to change it is to take your attention away from that which seems to so real to you and raise your consciousness to that which you desire to be. Because you can't say like, for example, you can't say that I am easily frustrated. You always say like, I'm easily frustrated.
Oh, you muted yourself, Christine. You just muted yourself.
Little kitty, like you are that person who are used to saying that I am easily frustrated. So you learn to change the situation from I let every situation flow smoothly. I can't help feeling anxious. I let every situation, I know that I am safe. So you have to change from what you are used to saying to what you want it to be like, because sometimes it doesn't understand. It is a blind force. Like whatever you say, your wish is my command. So if you say, I feel intimidated by others, instead of saying that, you can say, I am poised and centered. Like, what do you want to feel?
Yeah.
Recently, I was, my floor where I work wasn't really nice. And every time I would sit there and wash and do these things, I felt really bad. And then one day I said, like, let me put it in. And Patricia, my daughter, told me, like, why can't you just put it in your life story? Because you get irritated every time you have to wash there. And I was like, sure, let me put it down in my life story. Like, my place of work is beautiful. I love it. And it's really nice. And then I wrote it in my life story. And then immediately I got this idea, why not do something about it? And then the picture started coming to my mind, how I wanted it to look like. So I wrote it down, and then I was like, I want it as soon as possible. I want it to work on. And then my daughter asked me, like, what do you want as a birthday gift this year? And I said, like, I need this place to be completely different. I want it to look completely different. So even before the birthday comes, the floor has been made like 2 weeks ago. It's so beautiful. I just wrote it in my life story, and I said I wanted it as my birthday gift. And then it has already arrived like 2 weeks ago, and my birthday is in June. So I don't know how it happened, but I know it has already happened. Someone sent me money and say, like, I want you to use this money for your enterprise. Whatever you want to use it, it's not my business. Just use it for your work. And then it just fell in the place. It was exactly the amount I needed for that project. So this is what happens. Just change from, I hate how this place looks like. And then I was like, I love when I'm staying here, when I'm working here, it is calm, it is beautiful. And that is where I am at.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. So this actually reminds me of another situation I had just a couple of weeks ago when we went to go visit some people that have graduated from FMF programs through literacy, through sewing. We went to go visit some of the ladies that had come through that program. And it's very interesting for me because I visited one woman, and immediately she just started to tell me all of the reasons why she didn't have customers. And so her business isn't going well. She doesn't have customers. I think what she was looking for was for someone to come and like give her more help or do something. But then I went to go visit the second woman, and she said to me, and she was laughing. And she said, you remember when we first talked and I told you that I wanted to be a teacher? She says, I am now the madame. I am now the teacher in someone else's sewing school. And so I told her I will visit her the following day at the sewing school where she was teaching on the other side of where she lived. And I said, and so I did. And I went and I visited her, and she was teaching. I think she had like maybe 10 ladies that she was working with, and she was teaching them how to sew. She was doing a fantastic job, and she was happy. So now she's teaching in someone else's school. She's running her own business. Like the energy between those two ladies was completely different. The one focused on all of the reasons that things would not work for her. And you could tell, like when you went in her shop, you could tell, right? And everything that she spoke to me, you could tell it was in that energy, all the reasons why it wasn't working out for her, why she didn't have customers, why, meanwhile, the second the second woman, the same training, but she had chosen a new story. She had chosen a different way to see it. And
Yeah.
it came to pass
Mhm.
like that. They had done the same training, but one kept the old stories and would not let go of the old stories. And the other one
Mhm.
completely in a new place. And you know what? Because of that, because she's raising her vibration and moving into a higher place, she's attracting more women into her sewing school, into her class.
Mhm.
Because people want to be around that, and they don't want to be around places where it feels like there's lack. So you have to be able to create create abundance, right? Like even if it's abundance of new knowledge, of learning, those are all kinds of abundance that are free. If you
Mhm.
just decide that you will get it, you can just go for it, right?
Mhm.
So it's interesting to me that in the last couple of weeks, I keep seeing, like, I'm being taught the same lesson over and over again by like comparing, look at this, look at this, look at this,
Mhm.
look at this, right?
Mhm.
Just as examples. So I think the last thing I want to share has to do with that the second guy that I was telling you about that sent me the message about how he had looked in his life story from 3 years ago and was surprised to see how much magic had happened, how many things had come to pass that he had written down, right?
Mhm.
And so my question for him, what do you think my question for him was? I decided I will ask the question, if these are the things that you wrote in your life story 3 years ago,
Mhm.
what have you written in your life story now? If you wrote this 3 years ago and it came to pass,
Mhm.
what did you replace it with when it came to pass? Did you plant
Mhm.
new seeds? Are you planting new seeds now? If it worked for you 3 years ago, have you planted anything new since that time? Because sometimes we will plant a seed and then it will grow and we will harvest it, and then we will just forget that we have a whole field we can replant again. We will just forget. So I'm here to remind you that if there are things that you have received from your life story, remember to plant again. Plant new seeds. What is the next thing for you? What's the next thing? And that is exactly what I asked the second woman that was teaching in the sewing, because she started her conversation with me. Do you remember when I said I was going to be a teacher? I
Mhm.
said, and now I have done it. And I said, okay, so now what is next? Now you have done it. And I could tell by the look on her face, she hadn't thought of it.
Mhm.
She hadn't thought of it. But when I said, so now what? You have accomplished the thing that you said you were going to do. What is your
Mhm.
next thing? What's the
Mhm.
next thing you're going to do? What's the next thing that you want to do? Because now you have done it. Now you know you can do it. And the more you do it,
Mhm.
the easier it gets, because it's like everything else that you practice. The more you do it,
Mhm.
the easier it gets,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So she was excited because now she's like, oh, yes, what is next? What will I put in my life story next? Right?
I know, I know.
We just forget. I even do it myself sometimes, or I'll think, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'll even start working on something, and then I'll realize, oh, I haven't put this in my life story yet. Don't do anything before it's in your life story, because then you will be creating more work for yourself,
Mhm.
right? Big stuff.
Yeah, it's big stuff. I think Patricia is running with it. She's just running with life story like a crazy girl. Because the other time we went home, she had written in her life story that oh, this is a good one. She had written in her life story that we were going to Western, and she said like she's not going with bus, she's going to fly. So I didn't know that she had written that she was going to fly out. So for me, I hadn't said anything. So I had to go with the bus. Like it felt so bad because she had written, and then we were supposed to go with Sophie. Sophie is a lady from the UK. So she was going to visit my home. And then we had this Maandamano in Kiswahili, in English. How do you say it?
Maandamano in English.
Yes. There was this political thing that there was a lot of rioting, and then people warned her not to travel to Kisumu because there's a lot of things going on in Kisumu. So she had to cancel her ticket, and she was like, Christine, I'm not going to go with you to Western Kenya. Can you take my tickets and use them to go to Western Kenya? And I had already made a plan that I was going to Busia. So in Busia, there's no way I would, where I was going, there was no way I would use the ticket. So Patricia automatically gets the ticket, and she uses the ticket to go and come. So while we were in home, she had decided she was going to visit Impala in Kisumu. There's something, and she just said like, we are going to go to Kisumu early, and then I want to go and do something. And then we found ourselves in Impala. And then the good thing is that she decided to pay for our ticket to come back. But to go, we went by bus. We came by the flight because she had written in her life story. So she's getting really good in that. And I'm just amazed on what she's manifesting on a daily basis. And this year, recently, I think it was in February, I just wrote down that I'm grateful for every client that has ever come to my enterprise and has ever impacted our life through our enterprises. So I was just giving, I had written their names down, and then I was just giving gratitude. I'm grateful because of so and so. I'm grateful because of our working together. And then I started thinking about this particular lady. Her name is Denise. So I was like, I'm so grateful because of Denise. I'm so grateful because of how she makes me feel. She just calls me my baby girl because she's very older, and then I'm a little bit young, and she loves me like a daughter. And then the following day, Denise calls me and she said like, Christine, it has been a long time. How are you doing? And I was like, oh my goodness. And then I looked at her profile picture because I didn't have that number, and I saw it was her, and she was like, how about coming to Kenya? How about we spend some time together? And I was like, that will be really great. And so I'm leaving to go to Kitale for 1 week just to spend some time with Denise and the girls, and it feels so good. So sometimes gratitude is also the key. Gratitude is also the key for our businesses, for our clients, and for our partnership. It's very important.
And why is that?
Because
because
it opens you up, like
yes. Because it's a high vibration, right? It puts you
yes,
in a high vibration, so you have more room to receive. And when
Mm-hmm.
you are open, you will be receiving. When you are closed,
Mm-hmm.
like the
Yeah,
first
when you
first
give
lady in her shop, in her story about how she doesn't have any clients, and she doesn't have any clients, you can tell her business is closed because of the story she is telling. That she
so
doesn't have any clients, which means energetically her business is closed. Every time she says that, even if they come, they won't come to her shop because everyone will think she's not open for business. She's not, because she has that story.
and she has to be grateful for every client that comes in, and also for the money that comes in. Like sometimes there's this Japanese word that says arigato out, arigato in. Like when money comes in, I'm like arigato in. When money goes out, like when I'm buying some things, I'll just say like arigato out. Arigato means I'm grateful you came. I'm grateful you came in. I'm grateful you are going. So it's like you are just blessing the money wherever it comes, and wherever it lives, you just know that it is going to circulate. It will just come back. So this one, I learned it from Ken Honda. He's a Japanese who loves to talk about finance and how to be grateful. So learn also to to be grateful for the customers, for the clients, for the workers, and also for the money that comes in. Because sometimes when you're going to buy something, maybe in the supermarket, and you feel like, do I have to spend this money? You feel like you are closing the energy. But whenever I learned that arigato out, I'm just like, I'm releasing you with love. You go and do some stuff, and then you'll be back.
Yes. Well, and gratitude focuses you on what you have.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of what you don't. And we have done some trainings on that in the past about focusing on what you have, because it puts you in an energy of abundance. And when you're always thinking of what you don't have, or you can't do this because you don't have that, or you don't have that, or you can't move forward because you don't have that, that closes everything, right? It will close everything
Right.
down. Because you are focused on lack and want and need and all the things you don't have. But when you are in gratitude, you are grateful for the things that you have. And when you are focusing on what you have, you will get more. When you are focusing on what you don't have, you will have less. Right? That's why gratitude is important for so many reasons. Even you can be grateful for things that are in your life story. Be grateful for them before they come to you. Be grateful for them like you already have it. And it will just be you. So you can also write gratitude in your life story for things that haven't come to you yet, but they're on their way.
Oh, that's a nice one. That's a
I'm
nice
so
one.
grateful for this thing, right? I'm so grateful for this experience. I'm so grateful for this because it will put you in that feeling like it has already come to pass, it's already true.
And it shifts also your energy, because when you're feeling grateful for the things that have already happened and those that are on the way coming, it really shifts your energy to high vibration.
Yes.
And also for me, like when money comes in through my phone, and when I spend money through my phone, I also write it in my gratitude book, like Aligato in. I'm so grateful I spent you on this, and the feeling was really good when I was paying for my bills. And also when the money comes in, I write it. This amount of money came in on this day, and I felt really good. And I can even put a smile because it's my connection. It's my abundance, so I am connecting with it. So, well, and immediately I'm done clearing my phone, like when I'm cleared the messages of M-Pesa, money start coming in, because now I've cleared the M-Pesa statements. Now I allow more money to come in. Yes, yes, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. And I think also, like, being in gratitude, like along with like shifting your focus, like it's going to put you, well, think of this, like I love what you said about being grateful for when you pay your bills, being grateful for every time money goes out. How do we usually feel? How do most people feel about sending money out? Right? If it's a bill or something, they might be worried, or like they are afraid to pay it. That's why they don't pay it, right? Because they are afraid of pain. I actually have an affirmation that I've been using this year, that I fearlessly spend money. I fearlessly, like I don't do it from a place of fear. Sometimes we hold on to it because we're afraid we won't have it, right? So I love what you said about being grateful when you spend money and doing it from a place of gratitude, because that means you will have more will come to you. If you are afraid to spend it, or you are afraid to pay your bills, or you are, upset or worried. I was talking to someone today, and she was talking about how she had a medical bill that she had to pay, but she was so grateful that she had the money to pay it. So rather than just being angry or frustrated that you have to pay something, like being grateful that you have the money to pay it will bring more to you. But when we get in a place of worry, oh, if I pay for this, then I won't have, right? That's a different energy entirely than what you just talked about, Christine. So, aligato in, which means I'm grateful for the money that has come in, and I'm also grateful for the money that has gone out. Being in that place of gratitude about it. And always, it's just a way to bless your money, right? Bless it on the way in, bless it on the way out, and it will just keep circulating. That's why they call it current. Oh yeah. That's why they call it currency, because it should be flowing. It should be flowing. So if you are grateful when it comes in and you are grateful when it goes out, it will just keep moving. If you hold on to it or you are afraid, it will stop. Right? And then you wonder why the flow isn't happening. So I love that. I love that idea. I've seen a training from that guy. But I've forgotten about it. So I'm glad that you brought it up to remind us. Yes. Happy money. He usually say happy money. Happy money.
Yep.
Money is happy when you spend it, and it's happy when you welcome it, and when you let it go and have some fun, and then it will come back with friends. Yeah.
Yep. I love that. I think we should just leave it right there. I love that idea. So for myself,
So me,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So for me and Patricia, when we are doing something, she's like, alligator out. Oh, alligator in. So it's like, oh, in, out, in, out. And sometimes when you are talking about alligator, no, sometimes people who are surrounding us may not know what you are talking about. So yeah.
So you could put that in your life story also. You could just write that in. So I think that's awesome. I am going to be more aware in all of the places that money comes in and money goes out, because then I'm creating intention behind it and around it.
Okay. Okay.
And that's a perfect way to do it, to notice every time money comes in, every time money goes out, and to bless it. What a great idea.
Yeah, I do that. I do that with my M-Pesa money. Like I give gratitude from all the sources that money comes in. And also when it goes, I also give gratitude. So it's good when you are writing it down, because like for us, our M-Pesa, you have to clear. Otherwise it will be full. So when I don't want to miss anything. So I just have to write it down so that when I'm giving my gratitude, I have to remember, oh, I'm happy you came in, alligator. I'm happy you went out. And so it's good to also remember, because sometimes you just have to do away with all the messages in the phone.
Yep. Yep. Super awesome. So remember, we started off with some stories of different ways that people hold on to old stories, or they move on from old stories and leave them behind and create new ones. Remember, that's a choice that you make. So don't be part of the second group that thinks that life just happens to them, even the hard things. And so it's all about the struggle, because they will just make more of it. But that is a choice. They don't realize they have chosen that. They have chosen their reaction to it. They have chosen their response to it, right? And the people in the first group, they have also chosen to make new stories, to write new stories. So I just want to leave you with that. It is your choice. So you choose which of those groups you want to be. Do you want to be the woman with no customers? Or you want to be the woman who said she dared to dream a big dream that she will be a teacher, and now she has done it. And then remember to replant. Thanks for joining us. And those of you that are listening later, hope you get something great out of this. And we would love to hear more about what is coming into your life story. So see you soon. And thanks, everybody.
Bye.